I've never actually flown drones before, so maybe my opinion isn't that important. But the drone in question is the DJI MINI 3 Pro, and in many ways I think this actually is kind of the perfect drone for me, and I'm kind of tempted to buy it now. So let's talk about it. So DJI invited me out to their shop in Vivo City to kind of check it out. So here are my first impressions of the brand new DJI MINI 3 Pro. Now, I'm not going to do any test footage because number one, they didn't give me any, and number two, you've already seen Peter McKinnon's, Potato Jets, and a bunch of other YouTubers reviews of this with really impressive 4K footage. I'm kind of stuck in little boring Singapore right now. I'm not at Lake Como, so I don't really have the ability to shoot really insane fancy footage, which is a bit unfortunate, so there's no point for me giving you test footage anyway. What I can tell you about is my usage experience with it, which I think is very important because everyone who's reviewed this drone so far, they're experienced drone users. I'm a complete noob, a complete amateur, a complete beginner. So is it noob friendly? Well, yes. There are a few reasons for this. First is that it's 249 grams, which means you don't have to get any sort of licensing and registrations. You're able to fly it no matter who you are, which is an awesome thing. Another important thing about this drone is that compared to the last DJI MINI 2, which they're still selling by the way because it's for casual users, it has optical detection sensors. So if you're going to crash into something, it's going to stop and alert you and warn you so you don't crash into that thing. This is actually very important because I am terrible at piloting things. 1 week within getting my license recently, I curbed my car and basically broke it. I digress. But yeah, having obstacle detection is really important for beginners and amateur flyers like me. And since most people flying drones under 250 grams are going to be beginners and amateurs and people who are first-time drone flyers, that is a big plus, 100%. For sure. Another reason it's good for me is because this drone has good image quality. Not the greatest, obviously, but definitely good enough so that it won't look out of place in my 4K 120 FPS A7S III video. So I can actually use it for YouTube and stuff. It's got a bigger image sensor with 48 megapixels, so you can take really high-res stills. And the image sensor is bigger. I think it's 1/1.3 inches now, so down close to a 1-inch sensor. And the image quality is noticeably good. You can tell from all the test footage from the Peter McKinnons and the Peter Lindgrens of the world. It can do up to 4K 60, which is really awesome, and it also has auto HDR when you're shooting 4K 30 and below, which is very useful if you're shooting outdoors in like bright, harshly lit sun environments like this. Oh, another big important thing is that since this is clearly going to be used by people who are doing social media, you might want to be shooting some TikToks with the drone, and this can shoot vertical video, which is actually really nice thing. And it's I think the first consumer drone with vertical video. It's going to be a big thing. Everybody who's trying to do ads or trying to be successful on social media is shooting vertical videos these days, so having vertical video built into a drone is not a feature that I'll use particularly, but it's a feature that I can see a lot of people benefiting from. As for pricing, since this is the first video about it from a Singaporean YouTuber, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there as a bet. It's 1,099 Singapore dollars for the normal kit without the fancy remote, but if you want to get the fancy remote, it's 1,349 Singapore dollars or 1,399 if I'm not wrong, which is a very reasonable price for the kind of drone that it is. And speaking of the fancy remote, it is a very fancy remote. It's got a nice LCD display. I think it's about 5.5 or 6 inches if I'm not wrong. It is bright enough I can use it in like this overcast sunny day. That makes no sense. In this very bright day, basically, I could use it outdoors no problem. And it's got very intuitive, very satisfying, very useful controls. And I think it's a good idea to get the fancy controller because this fancy controller means you don't have to sync up your phone every time you want to launch the drone, which is so damn annoying. It does make the whole setup a little bit more bulky to keep in your bag though, but I don't think it's a big deal. That's something that, you know, I would really complain about. Another thing in terms of accessories you can get with this drone is to get a bigger battery. The stock battery can fly up to a rated 30-34 minutes of flight, which seems to be pretty decent if you can trust their statistics, but you can get a bigger battery if you don't think that's enough flight time. The thing is though, because it is 249 grams, if you get the bigger battery, it's going to go over the weight limit and you're going to need to get it registered and licensed if you want to fly legally without getting arrested or fined heavily. So that is pretty much it for my first impressions of the DJI MINI 3 Pro. I mean, I literally shot this after testing out the drone, so I got fresh first impressions. I'm shooting this on the rooftop of the mall where the DJI shop was at. What do I think about it? I think it's a really impressive drone. I think it's actually a better beginner drone than the DJI Mini 2. And while the Mini 2 is a lot cheaper, so it makes a lot more sense for a lot more beginners and amateurs, the improvement you get from the Mini 2 to the Mini 3 Pro is quite substantial, especially with the obstacle detection sensors, which I think is like a top feature that is required for any beginner drone flyer that's scared of crashing their expensive drone. Think about it, you pay $500, $600 more for the Mini 3 Pro, but the thing is with the Mini 3 Pro, you're less likely to crash it, so you're actually saving $600, $700 that you would have wasted if you bought the Mini 2 and you crashed it because it didn't have sensors. You get what I mean. The advantage is there. Of course, some people might disagree, and DJI thinks that those people do exist, so the Mini 2 will continue to be sold as a little brother to the Mini 3 Pro. I think for me, the Mini 3 Pro is unclose to exactly the drone that I've been waiting for, so I might just pull the trigger and buy one of those because it's got the image quality I want and it's got the ease of use that I need. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you to the DJI for inviting me out to check out this drone. It's actually a very interesting, pretty good product, and I can't wait to get my hands on a review unit and actually test it out properly and make a full-on review if I do. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and especially to these few viewers that watched to the end, all love to you guys, and yeah, I'll see you guys around.